This is E.Wilson, the Conversator from the JTC Exchange Radio Show, and we are coming to you live from Houston, Texas, down here at Riceville Mount Olive Baptist Church, just finishing up the Power of the Resurrection concert, Hymns for Him, v.michael McKay and Yolanda Adams. But now we're wrapping up now, but the show is not over yet, but I have the privilege of having U.S. Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. We're just going to stop it right there. She's been doing this for a little while. I'm not going to say how long, but Sheila, welcome on our show. And after a long day, how are you doing?
Eric, I'm doing wonderful, and I'm just delighted to be with your listeners, your viewers, because this is such a celebratory, praising time, such a season of redemption, that I'm just delighted to be able to be with you right after this great hymn for hymns. And let me just say this is H-Y-M-N for him, H-I-M. What a wonderful statement, praising for him. I'm just delighted to be here.
I hope I'm young like you one day with all this energy after a long day. Let me ask you then, Congresswoman, when you think about the power of the resurrection, you know, it's Palm Sunday today, Easter Sunday's next week, but we know this resurrection power is 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. When you think about the power of the resurrection, what does that mean to you personally?
It does mean redemption. It does mean that we were so precious in God's sight that he gave his only begotten son, precious son, for us, that the blood was shed so that we might be redeemed and that we might have the spirit of resurrection. You know, tonight I read a small excerpt, an interpretation of redeemed, or as v.michael McKay says, let the redeemed say so. And it's a payment. It's a payment for our sins. And so as I was sitting there and praising quietly, I was just saying that all the faltering and the missteps that we all make, the bad days juxtaposed against the good days, we know that there's someone who sacrificed so that we might be saved, so that it might be corrected, so that we might know that there was a payment so that we could go on, that we could carry on, that we wouldn't carry this guilt and this burden and say that there's nothing left for us to do because there was a resurrection and there is a redemption. That's what it means to me.
That sounds like good news.
Oh, it is very good news. In fact, I love saying that. It's good news. And again, it is wonderful to see v.michael McKay and Yolanda Adams come together and to underwrite this themselves. Because everybody that walked in without a ticket. And I think people should know that. Of course, we were grateful and gave an offering in the church. And, you know, we're here at Mount Olive at Riceville, with Reverend Terry Mackey, but all the pastors that were here just showed the respect that they had and how Palm Sunday could bring all these people together around the idea of redemption, of a resurrection, of a payment that was made for us, and how these beautiful talents in v.michael McKay and Yolanda Adams, very humble here in their great state, are not the icons that the nation sees them on stages with the president and in front of royalty, but simply children of God. And that's what they were tonight.
Well, on that note, you already covered the two, so let's talk about this event that's coming up very soon that you are very excited about and that you were sharing about tonight.
Well, I'm sure going to hope your listeners and all of those that are under your jurisdiction will be part of it, but it's even more than an event. A couple of years ago in 2008, I felt compelled to recognize or to say, everybody is popping at all kinds of music. And I know that there are a lot of honors that come to people in gospel music. But I said it was not enough. I said the gospel music is part of the history of America. Whenever you were in a mood of needing, people sung gospel music. Amazing Grace is a very, very old song. And it is a gospel song. It is a song of relief and comfort and redemption. Almost the Star-Spangled Banner was a gospel song. And the reason was that it was written to acknowledge that there had been a terrible battle. And when the sun rose, the person who wrote the song was so moved that the torn, tattered flag of the United States was still standing. They wrote the Star Spangled Banner. That's what gospel music is. It is to inspire. And I said, you know, we needed to honor gospel music as a American icon, as an American asset, because soldiers take gospel songs to battle. And so we introduced legislation to honor gospel music. It was bipartisan. It was co-sponsored by a senator from Arkansas, and it was passed and signed into law to make September Gospel Music Heritage Month. And now for 5 years, this is our 5th year, we've been at the Kennedy Center, we've been in Houston, Texas, and there are others around the nation. We've been at the State Department, the U.S. Department of Education, celebrating gospel music. And we will do it this year, our 5th anniversary. And really what I'm trying to do is to push it out, to seed it across America, that in September, that our gospel music legends all over the country will take a moment of appreciation to honor gospel music. So we will be in Washington, D.C. again this year, and in Houston, Texas again. And we welcome everybody from the state of Texas. All you Dallasites want to come on down, and we hope that it'll spread throughout the state of Texas and everywhere, to stop for a moment and thank the musicians, thank the songwriters, thank the radio anchors, television anchors, and the gospel musicians all over for what they do to give us comfort, to inspire us, to let us carry on. So I'm excited about having introduced that legislation. Carl Davis is my gospel music advocate who has worked with me. We have a gospel music foundation. We have a gospel music curriculum. We've been teaching it in school. We want to give gospel music scholarships. So we're trying to get on our feet, if you will, raise money that when we have our annual event, to give a gospel music scholarship to a youngster who wants to go into music.
That's incredible. So is there any information right now that's already out, website, anything that the people can grab a hold of?
Gospel Music Foundation does have a website. We will be establishing our date. We usually finalize our date in April for both the Washington Kennedy Center event and the Houston, Texas event. We sort of planned 6 months out. That'll be about 6 months. And so everyone look for it end of April, beginning of May, and then we want you to get going, because these events have been free over the years, and we certainly need your help to make this a permanent event and one that we can count on, that continues to provide opportunity for our great talent. Oh, we have a gospel component. While we're doing it in one part of the venue, the gospel effort by the youth, totally run by the youth, is going on. We have our gospel youth choir that has now been going on for 5 years. They performed all throughout the state of Texas. We're excited about that. Rather than put a gun in their hands, we've got them with a hymnal, we've got them with a musical instrument, and we're praising God for what has been happening with our youth in gospel music.
That is incredible.
We're excited.
I can tell. I can tell, because anybody who's been going all day like you have, I'm sure you didn't wake up a few hours ago, but that is incredible. Hats off to you for all that you do. I'm just learning about you, and I just said, how does she sleep? I started to do the interview and say, what don't you do? But that is awesome. We're glad to be a part, and I know that God is going to work out a way where, like you said, on the Dallas angle, or the, we're already, you see v.michael McKay already got us down here, so
there's a connection.
Yes.
I think that is outstanding, because gospel music should have no barriers. It should have no city barriers, no state barriers. And certainly I wanted to indicate that we have diverse brothers and sisters from Anglo churches, Caucasian churches, Hispanic churches, and we're reaching out to Asians. You would be just amazed of who's singing gospel music. And that's what we want to show, that it is American iconic music that is spread all over the world. We're excited.
Well, Congresswoman, thank you so much for sharing the information. We want to make sure we do our part to promote it and get it out there. And again, welcome on our show, and welcome to Mount Olive this evening.
Thank you so very much. It's a pleasure to be at Mount Olive, and a pleasure to be with you. Thank you for what you do in raising up the voices of gospel music. And congratulations to your media operation, and may it continue to be blessed. Thank you for having me.
Well, that's came straight from the Congresswoman, Sheila Jackson Lee. This is E.Wilson, the Conversator, right here. If you want more information on the JTC Exchange, go to www.jtc, the letter exchange.org. Coming to you live from Houston, Texas. We're all going to bed soon. Remember, if you're going to have a conversation, make it a good one. We're out.